Welcome back, Hannover Fair Atos on day 4, the final day. And also today, we're going to show you some of the showcases we had here and that got so many people excited. And one of them is based like on cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is something not really that tangible, but it gets more and more important. We had stories about like bitcoins that need to be transferred in the darknet and all that stuff, and just like companies that were not able to act anymore. Frederick, you are an expert on that topic. You're going to talk a little bit about the showcase you showed here off and what is very important about cybersecurity and why companies should start to invest now and not after the attack. Is that perfect for you? Maybe what are you doing? What's your background?
Yeah, thank you so much. Frederick Auburger, my name. I'm an OT security consultant responsible in Germany for the OT security ICS
Right.
consultancy. And in my case today and also for this fair, the focus was clear on OT, so operational technology, or ICS in industrial control system security.
Right.
And we showcased some of our capabilities and strengthened the awareness that we are quite good at the OT security topic. So what we brought here was like a Nozomi demo, which is one of our strategic partners. And so the first step, I would say, like to make the OT environment more secure. We have at the moment several projects, especially in the E&U market, where we deploy those technology. And in the OT environment, it's very important at the first step to get a better overview on the assets in the network. So first step is really to have a network, continuous network monitoring, or like to strengthen the visibility. So therefore, we are working together with Nozomi, which is an IDS system, or other technical vendors. And with these insights, we are capable of doing, like, I would say, an easy way to do like optimization of the network. So doing things like network segmentation, micro segmentation, or using a specific industrial firewall, data diodes, and so on. And then, so the next step is really to have a look on the outside boundary. So working on things like site remote access, secure remote access, working on things like kind of zero trust network inside of the factories. And then the next step would be like to have a focus on the endpoints in the OT environment. And for all of those solutions, we do a lot of advisory, consultancy, also doing pen testing in this area, and also deliver OT SOC capabilities, because it's very important that the processes from the SOC are made by the customer, because it's not like in I would say normal office IT security where you can auto remediate or block an IP address, because that could lead to the production is off, and that costs a lot of money.
That's right. That's what I heard. Like if a production line stops for an hour, sometimes depending on the industry itself, that's like millions, thousands, whatever. So that's extraordinary. So it's like cybersecurity in the box and tangible. For me, I was always like, how can you demonstrate cybersecurity unless you say like, okay, we're hacking someone? Penetration tests are one of the things, finding out where something could happen. Yeah. What does the box do, for example? What's in the partnership with Nozomi itself?
So it's an intrusion detection system. The main quality here is that it's completely passive. So if we go into the factory, into the plant, we don't have any interference with the production line. So it's completely passively by using from the mirror port from a switch, for example. And therefore, we are capable of doing like an anomaly detection. So it learns how the normal network behavior is. And with this knowledge, it can also show you and put out an alert if someone, basic example, someone comes with his private laptop, plug it into the network in the factory, then you would get an anomaly alert. And the second main thing here is that it has like signature and pattern-based attack detection. So it comes with a lot of intelligence, and you can, for example, see if someone tries to upload a malicious software, for example.
Oh, that's interesting. I heard of like one factory really standing still because one person was connecting one of those vaping objects, and on that vaping object there was malware, and that got into the net. So that's also something we could detect
we could detect here.
Okay, that's perfect. And on the other hand, like end to end, yeah. So it's consulting. We're going to
Yeah.
look into the system, we're going to
Exactly.
support it, and afterwards also help if something happens. We're also supporting companies if something happens,
Exactly.
because then
So
they come to us.
We
right?
also do like, as you said, consultancy, but we also do like the integration, the rollout,
Okay.
and we do also like managed service on all of those OT security topics.
That's perfect. What is if it already happened? You know, sometimes I heard it's like you just think you were never attacked. It just like when is the point that you just like find out that you have been attacked already, or
Yeah.
what do we do then?
We have a lot of specialists in that field, which are then directly come to the company, for example, and try to help to bring the hacker out of the network.
Okay.
And yeah, we're quite good at that.
That's awesome. I think that was quite interesting. Thank you so much,
Thank you so
Frederick.
much.
That's great. I need to take the microphone and I will
You're more
pass
than
on.
welcome.
Thank you. Have a great day and great success with them. Yes, number 2. And we're going now to something that's called the welding gun, which has nothing to do with James Bond. And I need to just like take you, the absolute chief on that there. That's Niels. Hi, Niels. How you doing?
Hi, Friso. Thanks. I'm
Yeah.
fine.
That's perfect. I want to find out a little more, and especially the participants, about the welding gun and the system itself.
Mhm.
I mean, it looks like a gun, but it's not a gun, right?
No, it's not a welding. It's not a gun. Yeah, it is used in the automotive industry specifically
Right.
to set welding points at carrosserie parts to weld them together. So that's the specific use case of it.
Okay. That's. But how do we do it? Like, okay, what is it now? The demo, and I'm sorry I had to interrupt, but it is live. That's how we're doing it. So, what is the thing you would right now describe to that gentleman who's interested? Because that's what it is about, the showcase and why it is of interest of a company.
So yeah, for example, you have a carrosserie, and
Right.
you have it in your production line. Then you have a welding robot with this welding gun.
Okay.
And the welding gun, the robot uses the welding gun to set a welding point at the carrosserie
okay.
part, and then there's some electricity, and this is setting a welding point to
Okay.
put the things together. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
And
What are we doing with that? Because it's like, are we building the welding guns? So what is it about? Because you have here, maybe you cannot see that live, but I can just like tell you, you can read it because very small letters. It's a welding gun monitoring. So we're looking into the data itself, or that's what capabilities are.
That's exactly that's an IoT use case or more an edge use case.
Right.
So we can show with this how we read IoT data, how we proceed with having a look at the data, and getting value of the data. So there are some parameters of positioning and so on, but there are also some varying parameters, because when you're setting welding points, you need these welding caps, which are in fact electricity electrodes.
Right.
And so you have a usual wearing when setting welding points, and so there comes a time where you need to change these welding caps because because you want to have a good welding quality, and when the wearing is too high, you can make sure that the welding quality is high enough. Yeah, and so for this we are setting thresholds for this wearing parameters.
Right.
And of course, when the threshold is exceeds, then we are generating an alarm, and showing it in a dashboard. And of course, sending emails to our customers, or sending a message to Microsoft Teams,
Right.
or put it on this. For example,
the smart labels. You have to look at what that's this camera, right? The one down there. Perfect.
This smart labels. So imagine you have this at your production line. With these smart labels, you are able to see your maintenance status, smart and on demand. Yeah.
That's perfect. And with smart labels, you can do a lot of things. What I'm doing is just like I'm showing that really. That's one of the smart labels here in use. It would either be like on the gun, for example, what you said. The great thing, it can be updated remotely. So we're getting out the data that goes to a server and then pushes that information right onto that smart label.
Exactly.
There also you have some that can light up, where you can just like adjust and acknowledge things. So you can also go for interactivity with that, right?
Yeah, of course. What you could also see here, you can also show some material data sets,
right,
with a direct integration in, for example, ERP or MES systems, and have it use it for the automation of warehouses.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's perfect. So you can send back a status that goes into a system,
Yes.
and you don't have to
Yes.
open up a computer, laptop. You can
Yes.
do that even with a dirty hand, right? That's
Yes.
also like in manufacturing quite
Yes.
important.
Exactly.
Okay. Well,
And what we're also doing with this welding gunners, as I said, we have these parameters, and we have this wearing parameters, and we are generating own alarms on demand. And what we are also on the fly, I think it's better to say on the fly.
right.
But what we are also doing is we are reading this mechanical alarms from this controller directly, which are directly provided by the SMC,
Mhm.
and we, because of this strong strategic partnership with SMC, we have information on the pattern of the data.
Okay.
So we were able to build a supervised machine learning model doing a nonlinear regression to predict always the next occurrences of this specific alarms. So it's AI based, and it's really predictive maintenance.
Wow, that's awesome. That's really impressive. I think some of the talks you had during the Hannover Fair were quite interesting. Everyone, I think, wanted to know what is this,
Yeah.
like me,
Yeah.
And what were like the most questions you had on that specific topic? Is there something you can like point out where it's really interesting?
There were different things. Many questions were about how we are reading this data,
Right.
and which interfaces we are using, and of course, if we can scale the solution, and of course we can, because we are not only able to use this Profinet, we are also able to use OPC UA, Modbus, and so on. And what's under the hood in the software is of course adaptable to the other interfaces. So it's really easy to scale. And the next question was really of what we are doing with the data, where we are sending it, and we always said, for example, we have the smart labels, but of course we are sending the data to the ERP system,
Right.
and we are integrating this in the cloud infrastructures of our customers. And what we are also doing is we are building new IoT platforms with our customers, and based on hypervisors like Google and AWS and Microsoft, and what they also did was they asked about the challenges with this, and of course, when doing IT use cases, it's always about the amount of data,
Right.
and how we can make sure that the end-to-end connection is stable. And so we talked about data buffering and so on. So yeah.
So many different things all in one hat: data buffering, bringing that to the cloud, edge computing, edge gateways, also like the pre-calculated things. We also I heard you talking about like 5G and all that, how that can be used in that.
Yeah.
That's absolutely great. Niels, thank you so much for this. I would just like take the mic off, and I think the current customer is just hiding, and I think he will go for that. Maybe. Thank you and have a great day. Maybe what you are seeing already above me, that's the drone, and everybody's asking about what the drone could do like, and why we have a drone right here. And this is now not just the case, but one of the cases where I'm very happy that I have you here. Thomas, may I give you the microphone?
Yeah,
That's
thank you,
perfect.
Friso.
Why do we have a drone here, and what are we doing with drones, Atos and drones?
Yeah, drones. With this kind of drones, we make in smart inspection on
Right.
Critical infrastructure.
Mhm.
This infrastructure could be rail tracks, high voltage power lines,
Okay.
pipelines, something like that. And we use these drones to gathering data over this kind of infrastructure.
Okay.
With these drones, you can fly 1 to 3 hours.
Wow,
and
that's long.
gathering a lot of data. They're carrying payload with them. They have high image cameras on it with high resolution, about 160 megapixels.
Oh, wow.
Also laser scanners, and with this laser scanner, you make 3D point clouds and generate some kind of digital twins of assets.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Well, looking up at the drone, I already thought I just like know the small ones
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
can
yeah,
play
yeah.
on my mobile phone. This is not a kind of a drone. You see, like it can carry on payloads.
Yeah.
Well, how much can you put up on a drone like that? And I heard there are some things coming on
Yeah.
in the future. Right.
This is an old one, but the new drone is like a helicopter.
Right.
And with this helicopter, we can carry about 35 kilograms on payload.
Oh,
with
wow.
it.
That's
Yeah.
quite a lot. So you can
That's
pack a lot
okay.
of cameras and sensors onto
Yeah,
those
yeah,
drones.
yeah.
Oh, wow,
And
that's amazing.
we are collecting then a lot of data. This payload generates 1 terabyte on data, and
Oh, my
then
God.
afterwards this will be analyzed.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff.
So yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You were mentioning about like railroads and that you're flying over railroads 1 to 3 hours. How is that all coming together? I mean, it's like
Yeah.
how do you
Atos.
how you achieve that you can fly on the railway? It's far away. You wouldn't see the drone, or
Yes, we can fly beyond visual line of sight.
okay.
The drones are able to do that autonomously.
Wow.
We only have to prepare in advance the track,
Right.
where to fly, and then say start, and the drone is flying that track along.
Okay, so like in a normal aircraft where we heard,
Yeah.
that sometimes the pilot just like, oh, okay, starting and landing. Nothing to FM pilots. I love your job.
Only in bad films.
That's right. So it's going on a long track,
Yes.
making a lot of pictures, measurements,
Yes,
and
you're right.
all that, and then it brings it back safely, and then it's analyzed for you.
Yeah. And,
Yep.
and afterwards, the data will be analyzed. We have in our cloud platform, we have analytics and AI programs running.
Okay.
And they are analyzing those data and making reports for our customers to state where the faults and
Okay.
yeah.
So flying over a railway means really that is looking at each of those little segments and finding out if there's
Yeah,
anything
you're right.
what's broken or damaged or missing or what
All
job
of them
right?
to find assets,
Yeah.
to make some kind of inventory management, also to find things that are in bad condition,
Okay.
yeah, and also to see how things develop in time.
Ah, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
And also what we make is some kind of vegetation management.
Mhm.
It could be possible that some trees are growing in the wrong direction and have to be cutted because they are
Okay.
growing into the rail track.
Oh yeah.
And the maintenance team has to cut the vegetation. And so we can analyze if this is possible, if this is needed or not.
That's
Yeah.
perfect. That's what I see also here on the slides and for the participants, so to say, it's about like planning, it's about the inventory, and it's each and every of those single slides you have there on how's it called the slide? The
Tie.
segment here. Okay.
Tie.
Right. You see the conditions, so it would grows in the right direction, the wrong direction,
Yeah.
but also if something happened on the track itself, right? Okay,
Yeah.
that's perfect. What's in the plans for the future? So today we had the drone itself. Unfortunately, it couldn't fly here. It's big. It's a huge drone.
Yeah.
I heard, and I don't know if that's true. Like if it flies out of sight, how can you control it? And what about flight regulations? How are we dealing with that?
Yeah, there is an EU regulation
Right.
for flights. So our pilots acting according to these regulations,
Mhm.
and we have to make risk management. And before we fly over this infrastructure, we have to get the permission of the governmental Austria control
Okay.
to do that.
So
yeah.
perfect. So I heard it's really you can see them on the Sky Tracker where you also normally check in your
of
own
course.
flights.
Yeah,
So
yes.
those flights are there.
Yeah,
and you
flight
can really
number,
track
everything
them.
like real
Wow.
airplanes.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing. Typical customers, like who is coming there, who's requesting it, and
Yeah,
what's
currently we are talking with, especially in Austria now, with the ÖBB,
Mhm.
and also with the Verbund and Austrian Power Grid,
Okay,
which is the
right.
owner of the power lines. Yeah. And what we are also doing is critical infrastructure is
Mhm.
also dams. Yeah. In the Alps, we have dams.
Okay.
We can also inspect and analyze these dams if there are cracks on it or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so we're flying over a dam,
Yeah.
looking at the structure of it itself.
Of
and-
the concrete and,
Yeah.
and can see if in the concrete is a crack or not.
Oh, that's-
It would be then with our AI tools will be marked, and then the customer will get a report where you can see is this really a crack or not. It sometimes it's not that easy, but the customer has something in his hand to look then at. Yeah.
That's perfect. Like also I asked to Niels, like now 4 days Hannover Fair,
Yeah.
a lot of customer interaction finally after some time.
Yeah.
How did they react on that? What was like a typical question, or is there something that you say like, well, we need to address this a little bit more because
Yeah.
whenever I see your drones, I just want to take the remote.
Yeah. A lot of people came here and say, what has Atos to do with drones?
Right.
So this is not a really normally a typical thing which is in the mind of these people to associate with Atos.
Yeah.
This was some kind of eye catcher. Yeah? And so we came into contact, and a lot of good talks with customers.
Well, that's
Okay.
cool. That's cool. I think that's pretty interesting. And thank you so much, Thomas, for presenting this
Yeah.
for your audience. Those were the 3 showcases we wanted to present you for this last live from the Hannover Fair on the showcases. Please stay tuned, because in the future we are already planning for going into detail. We're also going to do another detailed Atos live on the drone case itself in the near future, and quality inspection. Besides that, I want to thank you again that
Thanks
you
a
being
lot,
here.
Bischof.
It
Thank
was
you.
absolutely great. Thank you, dear participants. I hope you enjoyed our showcase live sessions live from the Hannover Fair. We see you at Hannover Fair 2023. Come to our booth, and of course, we will also be there virtually. Have a great day, everyone, and bye-bye.